Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. So, as you will see from the title, there isn't a backup plan. If this all goes horribly wrong, there is no plan B. And I want to say that out loud because a lot of people often assume there must be some kind of backup plan in place. You know, must have a fallback. Hello, Lucky. I apologise. The cat wants to get in on the action. Do you have something to say? He's certainly happy that I'm not working anymore. Aren't you, baby? Yes. But people always assume you've got a backup plan. They don't assume for one moment that one person could go through life without a plan B. And living this way does get romanticized a lot, especially by the younger generation. People imagine the freedom, the peace, the simplicity. And yeah, some days you have those things. But you also have to accept that you will be embracing a cat's tail in your face. Sit down. You also have to you have to accept that by choosing this way of life, you are going to have to embrace uncertainty. And that means fully accepting it 100% and not just talking about it in theory. I did not come to this decision lightly, although I have been known to be a little reckless. Yeah. And to sell everything and pack my bags and drive 1,500 miles to another country. But it doesn't have to be like that. And I don't consider this reckless. I'm certainly not naive to know that there are issues that can go wrong. I've experienced a few. In just the last 8 months of being in the lorry, I've experienced quite a few mishaps and things that have gone wrong. But I'm someone who looked at the life I was living, looked at where I was heading, and realized even though this was the sensible thing to do, to have a place, a roof over your house, a roof over your head, a nice little garden, and to be in the same spot and be fully on the grid. Yeah, that's the sensible thing to do at my age. But it's not the sensible thing for me. I'm not sharing this because I think everybody should live this way. Far from it. I'm sharing this because there are a lot of people, especially women my age, quietly carrying the same fear of no safety net, the fear of staying somewhere or with someone that is slowly breaking you. And this is not a success story, and it's definitely not advice. It's just my truth of what it feels like to live without a backup plan and to choose it anyway. Yes, that may be crazy. I'm definitely crazy. But the question I get asked the most is what happens if something goes wrong? Or what happens if something goes wrong? What do? We just suck it up and get on with it, don't we? So, yeah, that's basically what happens. We just deal with it at the time. Whatever it is, we deal with it. And the good thing about having ADHD is that in a crisis situation, I am fantastic. I really come into my element when I am in a crisis situation. Hello. Yes. So I used to think all the time about what could go wrong. I used to dwell on it. I used to stew on it. And then I realised that half the time, because I was thinking about what could go wrong so much, that I actually made it happen. And so I decided that I would try to focus on what could go right. Or if I couldn't focus on what could go right, just not focus on anything like that at all, just to get on with my day-to-day life. And as such, I can now cope with the uncertainty of not knowing what each day is going to bring. Bit like the weather. Yesterday, brilliant sunshine, beautiful day. Today, and the reason why the cat is here asking for cuddles, is because it's absolutely pissing down. Sit your bum down. So what people don't see is that sometimes when you're staying in that situation that you're in, you're putting yourself at more risk than you are if you leave it. And I found that living in a body that's constantly exhausted and waking up each day already overwhelmed was not the way I wanted to live my life, because I was still suffering burnout, and it was guaranteed. There was no way to not get burnout whilst living the life I was living. Thank you for the burp. It's really hard to do this with a cat. But choosing this life doesn't eliminate the fear. It's kind of like the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I have traded potential security for peace and tranquility and the ability to do what I want when I want. And it's okay if that trade-off doesn't make sense to everyone. It doesn't have to. It makes sense to me. There are days when I have to think very carefully about what money I've got and what money I need to spend. And there are days when things break and I can't always fix them straight away. There are days when I wish for a decent regular income, but then I sit down and realise that in order to get that decent regular income, I'd have to sacrifice a lot of hours. And what people forget is that you can always get more money, but you can't buy more time. Like, everybody literally gets the same 24 hours in a day, and you can't buy any more. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I decided that living my life on my terms was much better for me. So if you're watching this and you feel like life is draining you and you're terrified of what would happen if you quit your job or your house or your relationship, just know that I see you. I know exactly how you are feeling. That fear that you feel inside does not make you weak. In fact, it makes you stronger. It means you are paying attention to what is going on in your body. I don't have a neat ending to offer you, and I don't know what this is going to look like in 5 or 10 years, because I no longer look that far in advance. All I know is that right here, right now, all that matters to me more than pretending to be normal and a slave to society is that I am living my life on my terms. So I ask you, what does your life on your terms look like? Drop a comment below. Tell me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know, if money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your life? And then sit down and write that down and think about it and see if there's any way you can start putting any of that into practice now, even if it's just literally thinking about it. But just remember this: life is short. Life is so short. And you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So, do you really want to sit there every day doing a job that pays the bills and puts a roof over your head and lines the pockets of other people? Or do you want to live a life that you can be happy about, where you can make memories, where you might not have as much as you have now, but you have more time and possibly more energy? Just ask yourself, what is your life worth to you? And see where it takes you. In the next video, I'm going to talk honestly about what things I've had to let go of, what's been harder than I'd expected, and what surprised me, because there has been a few surprises. So thank you for watching. If you managed to get to the end, I appreciate it. I know not a lot of people do, but if you have, thank you very much. And I look forward to hearing from you. So I will say goodbye from me and Lucky, and we will see you on the next video. See you later. Have fun.